Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria, born on December 1, 1949, in Rio Negro, Colombia, began his criminal career during his teenage years. Engaging in petty crimes like selling fake diplomas and stolen tombstones, Escobar quickly demonstrated his penchant for illegal activities. His first major brush with the law occurred in 1974 when he was arrested for car theft. By this time, Escobar had already climbed the ranks of the criminal underworld, having founded the Medellín Cartel in 1972. This organization would soon dominate the global cocaine trade, supplying at least 85% of the world's cocaine market. Escobar's rise to power was marked by extraordinary wealth and unparalleled influence. By the late 1970s and early 1980s, Pablo Escobar had transformed cocaine trafficking into a fully industrial operation. The Medellín Cartel controlled every stage of the supply chain, from coca paste production in the Andes to smuggling routes into the United States. Cocaine was flown into Florida using small aircraft, hidden in boats, cars, and even furniture, before being distributed across major American cities. At its height, the cartel smuggled up to 15 tons of cocaine per day into the United States. So much cash flowed in that Escobar reportedly spent thousands of dollars every month on rubber bands just to bundle banknotes. Much of the money was buried in fields, hidden in walls, or stored in warehouses, with millions lost each year to rot, rats, and moisture. Escobar's power extended beyond crime. He infiltrated politics, law enforcement, and the judiciary. His infamous strategy of plata o plomo, silver or lead, forced officials to choose between accepting bribes or facing death. At the peak of his operations, he earned a staggering $420 million per week. His immense fortune led to extravagant and often bizarre expenditures. For instance, during a run from authorities in the early 90s, he reportedly burned around $2 million to keep his family warm. His wealth also enabled him to offer to pay off Colombia's national debt of $10 billion in exchange for immunity from extradition. Escobar's luxurious lifestyle was reflected in the extensive properties he owned, which included 141 houses, 142 planes, 20 helicopters, and 32 yachts, all of which were later confiscated by Colombian authorities. One of Escobar's most famous properties was Hacienda Nápoles, a massive estate spanning over 7,000 acres. It featured private airstrips, artificial lakes, luxury mansions, and a private zoo containing hippos, giraffes, elephants, and exotic birds. After his death, some of these animals escaped into the Colombian wilderness, and to this day, descendants of Escobar's hippos still roam freely, becoming an unexpected environmental problem. Despite his extreme wealth, Escobar lived with constant paranoia. He moved frequently, avoided telephones, and trusted only a small inner circle. Even at his richest, he slept in different locations each night, always fearing betrayal or assassination. Escobar's personal life was as dramatic as his criminal exploits. He married Maria Victoria Henao when he was 26 years old and she was just 15. The couple had 2 children, and despite his violent and criminal lifestyle, Escobar maintained a close relationship with his family. One notable and somewhat surreal moment in his life was a photograph taken in 1981, showing Escobar and his family posing in front of the White House. This image, taken during a visit to the United States, highlights the audacity and reach of Escobar's influence at the time. The violent nature of Escobar's empire cannot be overstated. His cartel was responsible for the deaths of at least 4,000 civilians, 1,000 police officers, government officials, journalists, and 200 judges. Escobar's ruthless tactics included bombings, assassinations, and extensive corruption. His operations extended beyond Colombia, reaching New York, Florida, and Mexico, making him a significant player in the international drug trade. Escobar's war against the Colombian government escalated into full-scale domestic terrorism. He ordered bombings of newspapers, police stations, and government buildings. One of the deadliest attacks occurred in 1989, when a commercial airline was bombed mid-air in an attempt to assassinate a presidential candidate, killing all 107 people on board. Journalists who investigated Escobar were hunted down. Judges were assassinated in broad daylight. Entire police units were targeted, and at one point, a bounty was placed on the head of every Colombian police officer. Despite his violent methods, Escobar saw himself as a Robin Hood figure, often distributing money to the poor and funding social projects in Medellín. To many residents of Medellín's poorest neighborhoods, Escobar was seen as a benefactor. He funded housing projects, football fields, schools, and clinics. Entire communities were built. Using cartel money, and in return, residents often protected him, warned him of police raids, and refused to cooperate with authorities. This public support helped Escobar briefly enter politics. In the early 1980s, he became an alternate member of Colombia's Congress. However, his political ambitions collapsed once his criminal background was publicly exposed, turning him into a direct enemy of the state. In 1991, facing mounting pressure from the Colombian government and international law enforcement, Escobar surrendered under a no-extradition deal with then-President Cesar Gaviria. Part of the agreement allowed him to be imprisoned in his self-built luxury prison, La Catedral, also known as Hotel Escobar or Club Medellín. La Catedral was less a prison and more a fortified resort. It included luxury suites, a bar, a football field, waterfalls, and round-the-clock entertainment. From inside, Escobar continued to control his empire, order executions, and negotiate with rival traffickers. When the government realized the extent of his control, they attempted to relocate him to a standard prison. Escobar escaped before the transfer could take place, triggering one of the largest manhunts in Colombian history. Being incarcerated, Escobar continued to run his cartel with little interference, until authorities attempted to transfer him to a more conventional prison. This led to his escape and a massive manhunt. Following his escape, Escobar became increasingly isolated. His allies were captured or killed, his finances weakened, and rival cartels gained ground. A joint task force known as the Search Bloc, supported by U.S. intelligence agencies, relentlessly tracked his movements using radio signals and informants. Hiding in safe houses, separated from his family, and constantly on the move, Escobar's empire began to collapse from within. Pablo Escobar's reign of terror came to an end on December 2, 1993, when he was killed in a shootout with Colombian National Police. His death marked the collapse of the Medellín Cartel, although his legacy as one of the most notorious and wealthy drug lords in history remains. His life story, filled with extreme wealth, violence, and a complex personal life, continues to captivate and horrify people worldwide. Decades after his death, Pablo Escobar remains a controversial figure. For some, he symbolizes unchecked greed and violence; for others, a reminder of systemic inequality and corruption. His story has inspired books, films, and television series, but behind the myths lies a brutal reality: thousands of lives lost and a nation scarred by fear.